the introduction should be something like you saying something like,
"Welcome to the coach's office." All right, guys, we're back. Welcome back to the coach's office. Sitting here chilling. We're done with the first week of the Open. We do our Friday night lights here at Krypton last week. So I figured we'd just, start talking about the Open, how it went.
Yeah, how'd it go for you?
Everybody's starting to redo the workouts again and kind of going through the traditional every year process of, I didn't do good enough, I'm going to try it again.
Right, we're going to call this episode Redos and Leaderboarding.
Leaderboarding, yeah, it's huge.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the workout went well. Did it on Friday. A lot of box jumps. Was worried a little bit about my knees. Got through it, felt good, felt smooth. Was happy with my score, so I'm not doing it again because you don't need to do it again because I'm just trying to get to the next step of the competition.
Right.
So I'm not trying to get caught up in that.
Yeah, it's a little, I guess, let me ask you this then. What is the difference now between the earlier days when most people don't know that there was a very real desire to win the Open, because usually it was kind of reminiscent on foreshadowing or projecting or prophesying to who was going to win the games that year.
Yeah, it's funny that was the case, right? Because now it's like the workout. So, for example, the workout they did this time was a 15-minute AMRAP of wall walks, 3 wall walks, 12 dumbbell snatches, 15 box jump overs. It's like anybody with an engine can do good at it. It's not like it takes some sort of special CrossFit Games champion ability to do well at this workout.
Correct.
So you're going to see a ton of people at the top of the leaderboard now, and the bigger the sport gets, the more people are going to fill those top spots that are just really fit people, you know?
Right, super fit,
Yeah, so it's not like, I don't think these first 3 workouts especially are any, indication of who's the fittest in the world that year.
Yeah, it's definitely that way now. I don't think you can argue that, but can you come up with randomly right now a argument for why that would be? Yeah.
Why it would be the case?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in the past it has been, I think, because the field was much narrower. There weren't as many athletes that were as good doing the same events. So I think you saw the top games athletes were also the top people in the Open. I mean, I'm sure you'll probably see that this year.
Right. They're all going to be there.
They're all going to be up there, but I don't think that it's, you win the Open, you're going to win the games, because I think they're very different tests.
Totally.
Nowadays.
Right. That placing, because of that, doesn't do a whole lot of justice to predict even who's going to do really well in the next round.
Yeah. So currently, we have the Open, which is 3 workouts, right? These 3. So I'm trying to get this down because I remember.
It might be more than three scores.
Right. So it's first 3 events, which are generally open to anybody.
Yeah, 3 events.
A lot of people can do them. The movements are simple.
Yeah, and I think it should be that way. I have no qualms with this first workout.
No, because they cut down to the top 10% of each one of the divisions in the world, right? Like North America, for example, 10% move on to the next stage.
Yep.
So it's not like they're cutting it to like top 1%. So they still are including a large basket of people into that next category, into the next stage.
Right.
So there's not as much emphasis on this specific one. And then we would move on to, quarterfinals? Which are a weekend of competition, which you have like deadlines for each workout, and there's something like 5
There
or
was
6.
5 last year.
Okay. Over the course of a weekend, so it's a little different.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to be more challenging workouts, and they're probably going to be more technically difficult. Things like that. Like it'll really narrow down. Right. And then they only take like 120 out of North America, for example. So it's really cutting down the field there. So this first 3 events, like for me, for example, I'm not really worried about them at all. I'm actually kind of just starting what I would call my training if I'm going to talk about this season.
Yeah.
I'm really just starting.
Right.
I was sick all last 2 weeks.
Right.
So I'm
do you think
coming back now.
Yeah, do you think that sort of coming, just working out again, getting over, the sickness or whatever it was, held you back at all during the workout? Because I judged you during the workout. It's been that way for a little while now. I take great pleasure in being asked to do it. 4 years ago, you won. Either 16 or 17, you won an open workout that had those heavy cleans in it. I think it was toes to bar, chest to bar, heavy cleans, maybe double unders or whatever. And I rewatched the video 7 times, counting, because I started having like super anxiety about like missing a rep and like ruining it for you or whatever it was. But eventually I was like, no, I think I got it right.
Well, that's a funny thing because I'm counting my reps during the workout. I wonder if people count their reps during the workout. You don't count your reps during the workout. You did like, I was telling you, I'm like, that's 12 dumbbell snatches. Hey, JB, hey, you're done. And you're at like 15 reps. I'm like, stop doing dumbbell snatches. Yeah. Move on to the box.
Yeah, You
don't count your reps. You just let your judge do it.
Well, I do. And especially for this one, because I decided I was going to do something that I've never done before, which was I started and I slammed my foot on the gas pedal and I tried to do what I legitimately have said, never do this. But I just wanted to experiment, and I'm okay with experimenting. So, like, if this is your strategy, it's probably a bad strategy long term. It'd be fun to dissect it. But anyways, I really tried to go for it, and it didn't work out. Didn't go well.
Your first 3 rounds were really fast. I'll give you that.
Yeah, they were good. They were good.
But I mean, you can do that in the open. You can let your judge count, but it's also good to keep count yourself.
For sure. Especially, it's a long story, but anyways, how do you feel like you did in regards to how healthy or ready you felt for it?
Yeah, I felt like the workout was actually a very good test. I liked the test. I thought it was a good like cardio test, if you will.
Explain that to me. Why do you think or tell me what you're thinking in that statement?
Like CrossFit brought something new to the exercise world when they started doing like an AMRAP like this, 15-minute AMRAP of a low number of reps, relatively low number of reps, but like a high number of rounds. So you're just rotating through like old school style stations or something that you might see. So you end up getting a ton of the volume is what gets you. And you're like, oh, that looks easy. 3, 12, and 15. Yeah, I can do that forever. And then you get 5 rounds in, and you're like, oh, okay. Now I see. It's like a trick almost, and it's like CrossFit's really good at that. And they, it seems like they introduced something new with that style. And it's like it's a different sort of cardio, if you will, or like a stimulus because you're just changing movements all the time. It's like, I was talking to Joaquin this morning. He's a firefighter, and he was like, talking about their fitness tests and and they do different things like, police do different things, military do different things. But a lot of times it's not exactly like what they train for in the field.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, like if they're like, hey, I'm going to do push-ups or pull-ups, it's like, well, when am I going to do push-ups or pull-ups in real life or in work or whatever? It's like you're going to be moving objects, you're going to be carrying things, you're going to be running upstairs, you're going to be whatever. But it's going to be a multitude of different things rotated through quickly at a high intensity. So it's like, it seems like that type of fatigue or cardio, if you will, is different than like going for a 15-minute run. Structure, I guess it's kind of the same thing if you think about it as like, oh, it's just my heart rate. But it's like there's more things that are happening than just your heart rate, when you're going through like a 15-minute AMRAP like this open workout. And you feel that, and it feels different. It's something different that CrossFit brings. And that's why I think it's so cool, and that's why I think it should be implemented more in these other fields or these other professions and other fields of work. Like that type of cardio is what you would face in the real world, and that's why it was so applicable to military, police, firefighters in the beginning. That's why CrossFit started in those communities, and that's why it was so good. It's like the cardio is different. You feel it. I was like, hey, how's the workout? And you're like, what'd you say? Man, I underestimated that one. It's like we do it every time. It's weird.
I said I underestimated it. I think the first thing I said was it took my lunch money.
Yeah.
And then
every time it does.
Yeah, every time. And then basically the third thing I said was I really thought I was going to do a lot better on this workout than I did. But looking back now, I think I did the best that I could. Like, I think where I am fitness wise, 8 rounds plus 1 wall walk was the best that I got currently. I think I could get like peak fitness for me would be getting 9 and then somewhere into 9. Like that would be like, bro, I am in shape then, like doing really well, because this is not my type of workout. Like, I am not an AMRAP sufferer. I'm not an engine. I'm not a let me breathe heavy, like super heavy with no rest. Like, just go for it. Like, I can't punish myself like that. Before the workout, Clayton was like, hey, here's a reminder for you. It's not supposed to feel good. And walked away. And I stored it. I was like, all right, fine. I'll do my very best to make this not feel good. And the thing is, it's going to do that anyways.
The test does it. You're competing against the workout.
Yeah.
It's crazy how you compete against the workout.
It did. It dominated me, and it's whatever. It's all good. I'll never do it again.
Just that workout, or?
Yeah. Yeah.
You didn't like it?
No.
Mm-mm. What didn't you like? Box jumps?
No, I didn't like the dumbbell snatch. Like, I wish it was I would have chose something different, but it's okay.
It definitely sneaks up on you, and I think a lot of people, recognize that.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you see some of the scores that are on the leaderboard. I mean, I have not been leaderboarding.
At all.
I have not checked the leaderboard at all, which is
all right.
Probably just because I haven't.
Do you want to start with the guys or the girls then? What do you want me to tell you? Because I'll pull it up right now.
I would assume that the girls would do better at this than the guys because the box is a little lower.
Yes, they will. They are.
The dumbbell's relatively lighter, and in that regard, they're pretty fit. So I don't know. Yeah, let's see what are the top scores for the girls.
Oh my goodness. Do you want to guess?
So I did see a couple people's YouTubes, because I'm on YouTube a lot. Like 12 rounds. People were in 12 rounds. Like the daughters over in Iceland.
Yep. Yeah.
I saw their workout. They did like 12 rounds, right?
Yeah.
They were moving.
They're moving.
And then there was people that just smashed them.
Yes.
All right.
I don't know why this is not like resetting for me right now. Let me close this. I'm just gonna pull it back up because it should load right to it.
Well, have you been leaderboarding?
On my way here, I looked at it. All right, bro.
About to leaderboard right now.
Yes, dude. Look at Mal O'Brien's score. Dude,
this is a workout made for her, huh?
100% made for her. And she was my prediction on who I thought was going to win. My next prediction was
392.
Was what's her name? Jamie Green.
Okay.
But anyways, 392, bro. 392.
That makes me feel like I'm just been sitting on the sofa eating Cheetos for a year.
3 rounds.
By like 100, almost, yeah.
Yeah, 3 rounds.
90 reps.
Yeah, it's 3 rounds. That's absurd. She beat me by 5 rounds. And for me, as an average Joe, to think that someone could do 5 more rounds in that time is absurd to me. Like, that was kind of what I ended the workout feeling like. Man, Ben just did this, and he got 3 more than I did. How is that possible? Like, how is that humanly possible? I thought I was flying. That was another thing that was like a little frustrating, was I really thought that I was doing good. Like, but live.
I'm gonna see what's going on here. Something just came through our door.
Is it Georgie's redo?
Yeah, she wanted to make the podcast again, so Georgie's redo.
She's got a shout out on everyone. So there's this New Girl. Did you watch New Girl?
I've seen
the
it
show
before.
New Girl.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Julianne liked it. Shout out to my wife, Julius. Love you. We really like this show, but they're going through, like, the new thing right now is for all of these uncreative, formerly creative people in showbiz are now just recycling their ideas and just turning them into podcasts where they just talk about the show that everybody liked.
Oh,
so like,
yeah, like
the cast of New Girl is now doing a podcast explaining to you the episodes of New Girl.
Man, I don't know about that.
It's entertaining.
I'm sure
but it's weird. It's like trapping you in this like time loop or something. Like, it's really strange.
That is weird. Like, you're like looking back all the time at an episode that you could just go watch again. It's odd. It's interesting though. I mean, people want to know. People are all about wanting to know about their experiences, right?
But I bring that up. Hold on. I brought that up to say there's a fan theory that there's a bear in every episode. And I brought it up because Georgie has made every episode of the podcast. So, welcome back. She's in. All right. So, we should probably keep it going. But don't tell me. Georgie got 8+1, which is the exact same score that I got. So, we have somebody at the gym. And we have someone at the gym who's 20, got 8+1. Me, we'll just call me 30. I got 8+1.
You're talking about years old?
Yeah, 20 years old.
Okay.
Got 8+1. Fit person. Me, 30, 8+1. I'm 30, turning 32. You're turning 32, right? Yeah, we're the same age.
This year I'm turning.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, for just simplicity's sake. 20, 30, 40. This girl's 20. I'm 30. Georgie is 40. All got 8+1. She just redid it, and she wants to redo it because 8+2 would be thousands of spots on the leaderboard,
and above you,
and beat me for sure, which was probably the main goal.
Yeah,
but I think she would have done much better. So I'm going to say, not only did she get more than 2 wall walks right there, I think she got into the dumbbell snatches. I'm going to say 8.
Ooh, close, 11.
Dang,
that's pretty good. You're good at guessing scores. I'm surprised by that. Yeah, she.
What do you mean you're surprised by that?
You're just it's odd how good you are at guessing scores. That's all. She got 254 her first time. She got 241. So her redo was better. I don't find that when I redo, I ever get better.
Incredible.
That's impressive to be able to get better.
I've never seen you redo a workout and get better.
I'll tell you one time.
When?
You can do this little flashback thing if you want to. 2010 Open or whatever. I don't know. The
insert video.
YouTube video is on the YouTube page, our YouTube page, way back when. Scroll back. It's in my parents' backyard.
Yep.
I put out a little mat on the grass and did the workout out there. It was burpees, overhead squats, and muscle ups I did the muscle ups in the trees. It was like a 10-minute AMRAP or something.
Was it an open workout?
Open workout. It was awful. I remember it being awful. It was like 60 burpees, 30 overhead squats, and 10 muscle ups. And it was like a 10-minute AMRAP. And you got back into the second set of burpees over the bar, and you had to do burpees. And I was like, I thought I could do better, you know?
Yeah.
So I did it like, Friday. And then I woke up on Saturday morning and did it again, like the next morning.
Oh my goodness.
1 rep better.
Dang it.
1 burpee better, because you're in their second round and you're like, I got 43 burpees. It wasn't worth it.
That's not worth
it at all.
No.
And from that point on, it's always been a battle of whether you should redo the workout or not.
Right. I'm trying to think
in her
back.
case, she got a lot better and she beat you, so I think it was worth it.
That's so whack. That's so whack. It's whatever. After this, I'm redoing it. Just kidding. I'm not doing that. The one workout that I did think that you were going to do better on is one of my favorite open workouts of all time, which was it was like 30 overhead squats, 100 dubs, 30 dumbbell snatches.
Yeah, it was a chipper.
100 dubs.
It was 2 rounds.
30. It was a chipper. Yeah. The bar muscle ups, dubs, ring muscle ups, dubs, whatever it was. 12 and 12 or something. And
that workout was really hard, like deceivingly hard.
I thought after your first score, which was really, really good, you were like, I can do better. Because you had like missed a couple of double unders or something, and I don't know, but you didn't.
Well, it was one of those, again, the volume catches up to you. Let's talk about the volume in these open workouts. Like, that was 800 double unders.
Yes.
In a very short amount of time. Like, time cap was like 12 minutes or 16 minutes or something.
Yeah, it was not long.
Like, it was short. And it's like, you don't realize how taxing 800 double unders is. Like, when do you do 800 double unders in a workout? It's rare to.
Before then, you weren't doing more than, like, let's say 500.
We normally, like, the most we'll get is 500 in a workout.
Yeah, tops.
Like, 800 double unders, you're now entering a realm that you're not used to being in.
For sure.
So it's like, that's just a kind of an unknown, so it's like, okay, you're challenging yourself on the physical front, but mentally you haven't done it before, that many reps before. That's what the open workout does to people.
Yeah.
It's like mentally they haven't gone there with the intensity, and then 2, they haven't gone there with the volume.
Right.
So it's like you're combining those 2 things together. It's going to punish you every time. Yeah. I mean,
it really will punish you every time. Good job, Georgie.
Yes.
I'm very excited for you.
Nice work.
I'm glad that worked out for you. The Mal O'Brien's 392 could possibly be the best.
I want to see
most
the video.
impressive
That's
open
insane.
Score I've ever
How
seen.
fast? I just want to watch the first round or 2. See how fast it is.
It's
But yeah, I was like, oh, there probably won't be too much separation in this workout. Everybody be around the same scores.
No,
I'm like, oh wow, okay, nope. You guys are proving me wrong again. The field's just getting better and better as the years go on.
The field is getting so much better. Let me look at the guys real quick. I don't think the guys' scores are that as impressive.
Well, Saxon did 380. I did see his video.
Oh my goodness! Did he
see
really?
He went with Tia. He beat Tia. Like they went head to head, like next to each other. And
Saxon's so
Tia
good.
You could tell Tia was trying to beat him, and he just stayed ahead. He was impressive. That was good.
That is really good.
Yeah, he's young and like all that jumping, Like,
yep.
You're better at that. For sure.
He got Justin. Wow, Justin got the same as Tia. The champ, the current champ. Congrats, homie. I'm glad. That's gotta be so rewarding.
Who are you talking about?
Justin.
Oh yeah. I didn't know what
he won
saying.
last year.
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
Wait, who'd you think I was talking about?
I didn't know what you were talking about.
Do you think I was talking to you?
No, you didn't mention a name.
My bad.
I didn't know you were going through the guys.
Yeah,
So to all the people listening that want to redo the open workout, what do you tell them?
Currently.
Yeah, it's Monday. Everybody wants to redo the workout.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it? Monday the 28th of February.
Yeah. I think you'll know if you should read. I would start there because I'm a very intuitive person. And I think that if you can lean into your intuition, like if your intuition can override ego, which are 2 very complex things to talk about, then go for it. But if your ego is telling you to redo it and it's, if your ego is telling you to redo it and you're leaderboarding and you're upset where you are at the leaderboard in a comparison game, that's probably bad motivation. It still could be a motivator and you could still do better. And the outcome could still be moving up the leaderboard and being better. But if it's tied to that ego thing, it might not be as good for you in the long run. It might be tied to some mental health thing later on down the road or whatever. You're not conquering the thing that you think you're conquering. And we're doing this podcast to talk about the holistic reason this is so good for you. CrossFit is so good for you. Why it is such a picture of all of these other things. And especially faith and mental health. And the open is something. So I heard someone say during Friday Night Lights, like, my judge kept no-repping me why this doesn't matter. Like, I'm not going to go on to the next part. And I immediately thought of at least 3 things came to my mind of why that's why this is happening. Like that's why you're being held to this standard. That's
the point.
That's the point of this whole thing.
This open is a different thing than your CrossFit you're coming to the CrossFit gym every day.
Right.
It's supposed to be different. That's the cool thing about it. It's like if you did it every day, it wouldn't be anything. It wouldn't be the same thing.
It wouldn't be sustainable.
No.
And CrossFit would have never become what it has become. And it wouldn't communicate and it wouldn't help and heal as many people as it's helped and healed. And there's a reason why, and I'll use this language, grace, right? The receiving something you don't deserve is sort of your everyday coming to the gym. Like it's got a a standard set to it, and you should do your best to meet that standard. You know how the movement should go. You shouldn't shorten reps. You shouldn't short yourself. You're testing yourself in all of these ways. How much can I hold myself accountable to being the best that I can be every day when I come to the gym, when no one's watching, right? Mm-hmm. And then once a year, you subject yourself to scrutiny, to extreme scrutiny, under the microscope. Every inch matters. Every millimeter matters. Every rep matters, to the point where if you don't do it perfectly, it doesn't count. That's necessary. Those two things must go hand in hand. And I think the balance that we have is a good one. It's different for you as an elite athlete. You have it 3 times a year. Now it's 5 times, whatever it is. But you're going to...
It's so interesting that that's necessary. Like that once a year of like, okay, all this matters, really matters. Like it's not just like, oh, I can, not really touch my hands close to the wall on the wall walks, or like not really lock out my dumbbell snatches, something simple like that, right? But it really matters, and it's interesting as to why it matters. I'm trying to think that one through.
Well, you want to know that what you're doing is quantifiable.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I that's where I see it. I see it as as going to the gym every day is a process, right? It's this process that you are refining over time, but then you have your tests, just like you would have your benchmarks at the gym.
Right.
But even those benchmarks aren't the same as the open workout.
Nope.
They're not quite the same thing. Like you can go into the gym and the workout of the day is grace, and it's 30 clean jerks for time, and you can kind of skimp your reps. Like you don't really have anybody watching you. You can do 29.
Right.
Right.
Right. Or
whatever, like
your bar can be a little far forward, or
yeah, obviously that's a bad example of cheating, but it's not the same as the open. The open it brings something completely different to the table. You're right, CrossFit wouldn't be quite the same without it at all. It wouldn't be. There's an attraction to that testing. Like people want to test themselves. They want to see where they're at, and that's why it bothers them so much when they're watching the leaderboard and they just like. They're like, I could do 5 reps better and I'd be this much better. What Greg Glassman says, men would die for points, right?
Right.
I mean, anybody, men or women, I guess, are very competitive.
I mean, right now, it's a true statement. Men and women are, dying might be the wrong word.
Yeah, I think he's using hyperbole there, but.
Yeah. But I like it, though.
No, it's great. It's a good quote. It's catchy, right? But it's true, too.
Oh, yeah. I think the desire comes from a place of there's a philosopher, Baudrillard. Have you studied him at all? Looked at him at all? So he is the reason the Matrix was written. He is the Matrix, right? The first one, at least. Mm-hmm. The rest of them are not him. But there's whatever. That's Hollywood making money. But he's the first Matrix, right? Mm-hmm. The hyper reality. So you have something that's real, and then every adaptation of it is taking you further away from reality into hyper reality. All right. What the open does.
Give me a small example.
Here's a tiny example is thinking that a cherry Tootsie Pop is what cherries taste like. It's cherry flavored. Mm-hmm. But it's not made with real cherries.
It's a different thing than
and
a cherry.
Even if it is made with real cherry juice as its flavoring, it's still not an actual cherry. It's
so you're taking a step away from reality towards some sort of artificial form of reality.
Correct. And that one's not even artificial, like because it skews a couple different directions.
Sure, you can go all kinds of different ways with it. I was just trying to give
right. Yes, artificial.
Example.
Yes.
Okay, that's an example. Great.
That's just an easy example to see. Whole and then it's fragmentations.
Yeah.
All right. The open is your chance to step it back into reality in case your day-to-day time has left you in hyper reality of thinking, I'm real fit. I'm the man. I'm the woman.
That's a great point.
I'm in this space or I'm in that space. Or sometimes I think like the mental health aspect of it where We should definitely talk about that. I'm interested to what you think about. Probably not on this one. It might be a longer one. But it's your check. It's have you been tricking yourself? Like, and then do you really know how to deal with reality? I had a delusion that I was going to get 9 plus 25. I got 8 plus 1. I was delusional, but that was hopeful. And I calculated it out and I thought I could.
Mm-hmm.
I was wrong. I got a taste of reality. I was living in hyper reality for a little while. And that's okay. But it's doing that for me.
Yeah,
it made me think, wait, maybe I'm not in as good a shape as I thought I was in, but I don't have to be discouraged about the shape that I'm in. I'm in good shape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what does that do for you? You know, what does that do for you mentally or physically or emotionally?
I have decided that things
yeah.
like this will become motivators for me. I would love to be better at this part of CrossFit personally.
The competing part?
The competing part, but not... I'm a great competitor. Like, I love to compete. I compete at anything. We can draw triangles right now, and I will draw a better triangle than you. I enjoy that thoroughly. The thing that I'm not good at specifically with CrossFit currently is the original stimulus that CrossFit had brought about that was brand new to everyone that you were describing, which was like punish yourself cardiovascularly by doing something other than just running. So when I was an athlete, I hated running. That's antithetical. They don't go together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was a soccer player. Didn't like to run. You want to hear a crazy story? In high school, during our soccer practices, we would go on long 5-10 mile runs. Yeah. I would leave 2 miles in, just go into the school, sit, and then keep my eye out and look for them to come back and then catch up to them and be like, where are you? I'd be like, mind your own business. I'm not telling you where I was. That's how much I hated it.
So you really hated running?
Yes, dude. And I was a liar. That's why
I wonder how many people at the gym just skip out here on this side of the gym where they can't see you when we're running our 400s.
That was
just like JB.
Maybe they just like
they'll use you as an excuse now.
Come to this fence right here or something. They're like, listen, if we all stack hands, this doesn't have to be 400. But it was bad. But that was something that I got redeemed out of. There was something that like my faith journey, right? When my life changed, it was because of Christianity, specifically Jesus. You don't have to think that I'm preaching at you right now to hear what I'm saying. I had an event in my life that was so significant, it turned me from hiding in the school from running to just running and dealing with the consequences of not being good at it. Like actually taking on this challenge, becoming less afraid.
Voluntarily.
Yeah. Voluntarily walking into the space that I just didn't like, that I was uncomfortable in, and saying, you know what, I'm going to stop being a fraud. I'm going to stop faking this. I'm going to step out of hyper reality into reality, which was at that point, because it was tricking me into thinking I was a better soccer player than I was. And that was not okay, because on the field in the, last 20 minutes of the game, when I dominated the first 70, and then we would lose consistently because I couldn't run that last 20, I'd be like, oh, it's everybody else's fault. It's like, no, I needed to be able to run more. So there's this, it's ingrained. This is why I was like, Ben, we got to do this podcast, because it mimics reality is the wrong language, but it
represents.
It represents.
It's a pattern.
Yes.
Right, like we talk about.
Like so much.
The pattern of voluntarily taking yourself into this testing grounds, if you will.
Yes.
And exposing yourself to the test or the reality that exists there, and then receiving the results and then figuring out what to do with them and still moving forward.
Right.
Yeah, it seems like a pattern that you'd experience in your life. Like, you know, you're tested throughout your life, and you're tested in different like completely different ways, right?
Yeah.
You have to take it, and you have to process it, and then you have to continue to move forward because life goes on. It's just like,
and how often are you willing to walk into that test? Because most people aren't using tests to help them differentiate between hyperreality and reality. They're using false markers. They're using false tests. They're using a fake test, whatever it is, to help guide them, and that's not helpful.
Well, it comes back to your question of how often do you want to voluntarily enter into that, right? You can do that every day, but it's hard. It's way more difficult,
right? And
it's way more rewarding in the same sense, because the challenges is where, and the obstacles are where you learn to overcome things, and that's where you learn, and that's where you grow.
Right.
So it's like, that's what we're trying to quote unquote preach, is to voluntarily go into these testing grounds and, you know, battle with yourself against this workout, and it'll teach you something. Yeah. That's what I mean when I say it's like, you learn about yourself. You learn about yourself when you're struggling. You don't really learn about yourself when you're getting meals delivered to your house, and, you know, you don't got to do anything because you don't have to work, or you don't have to do whatever. Like, it's not, you still need to go test yourself and challenge yourself. Like, and that exists here in the gym at Krypton. It's like, or at any CrossFit affiliate, you can go test yourself.
Right.
That's what it's like. But how often do you want to do it? You know, it's like life deals you those things throughout, sporadically, you know, like throughout your life. But I feel like if you're voluntarily going after them, maybe you learn a little bit quicker or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know. Because you can try to avoid it and hide, but you're not growing, you know?
No. There's, and it's hard to find this sort of space, like, outside of sport or
That's
the
why
gym.
I'm still doing CrossFit, you know? It's like, this is what I love about it. Why am I still doing CrossFit? I've been doing it for what? I've been competing for 12 years or whatever. It's like, it's the challenge every day. Like, you're stepping into something that's essentially new in a way, because you haven't lived this day out before.
It is new.
Same experiences that you have in the same circumstances. It's like, why am I testing myself in the open for the 12th time? It's like, because I'm still improving from doing the same thing.
Right.
That's all I need to know. It doesn't need to be that complicated.
It is. And that's the beauty of it. These things that are very simple end up being these phenomenal pieces of wisdom. And wisdom is something we want personally, individually, and then we speak collectively too. Like, we want to be wise, like, as a unit. But also, one of my desires is that you're wise when we're not together, obviously. You know? Mm-hmm. We often say that doing this dialogue process of verbally trying, testing, and then arriving at sort of the next checkpoint and continuing towards, you know, we're continuing in this, like, knowledge exploration, but we don't care about knowing. Like, I don't care about knowing more than someone. I really don't.
Mm-mm. You just want to find out what's there, what's true, what's right, what's good, how to act, and then what to do with it.
So the how to act thing is the most important to me.
Yes.
And everything you said before then, I'm like, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, but because it all comes down to that.
And it's not like I don't want to get caught slipping, or like,
no, you don't want to live in hyper-reality.
I don't want to live in hyper-reality. Exactly. It doesn't serve me. It serves no purpose.
Or no good purpose, right? It's not like it doesn't serve a purpose, because
no good purpose.
It's okay to be comfortable.
For sure.
You know, it's like, it's not a bad thing.
I scroll on Instagram.
It's not a bad thing.
I insert myself into hyper-reality. You know, like, I don't post a ton. Mm-hmm. I actually gave up, you know, posting things on Instagram a long time ago. The things that I do post, like, I'm trying to poke at a couple of things when I do post. I'll post funny, sporadic stories of my wife caught doing something silly, and I'll say, Julian, give the people what they want, and then randomly put my camera on her and let her just be like, that's intentional, right? It's intentional to not
it's funny.
Shoot a picture of me and her dressed to the nines when we go out on our date night. I don't care if you know that. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, JB, you could post that and somebody could be inspired and they could decide to date their wife and they could decide to dress up and look good and feel special and all of those things. And I'm like, no, I mean, people in my life know that we do this. Like, people in reality know that those things matter to me. And I'm doing it there. So maybe I could enter into this space and become that for someone somewhere or wherever.
It's so funny because that is like, it's mind-boggling to me, because to that person explaining that is that person's reality.
Right.
It's like, what? I listened to the Lex Friedman and Mark Zuckerberg podcast. We was talking about Meta.
I'm genuinely scared to listen to it.
You have to listen to it because these people, whether Mark Zuckerberg, whether he knows it or not, is directing the course of humanity. Like, the human race he's leading the human race,
right,
whether he likes to know it or not, or whether he knows it or not.
Right. He knows.
Just with the technology. Oh, I know. But just with the technology that he's putting out there. And he said something that was exactly that. He said, it is reality. He said, right now, we don't live in reality. We live in this partial. He said the metaverse or online world is reality because it's like blended with our lives. And I'm like, I don't know that that's
no.
I don't know that that's true. Right.
That's a lie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
Right. Because of exactly what you're saying. It's
yes.
like because you can just put on a persona. You can just put on a mask. You can put on something else and you're not yourself anymore.
You could be anyone.
You can be anything that you want to be. And it's
right.
like, that's not reality. Mm-mm. And it's easy to test that. Like, test for that. Go test for that.
Or here you go. It's not reality. Or I know why I think that it's not reality. Because I think those same applied principles in reality take a very, very long time to accomplish. So we talk about projecting out, right? Like, you can, most current example, Odell Beckham Jr., football player, goes from the New York Giants, very good, gets traded, big deal, goes to the Browns, gets injured, sort of gets put on the back burner. Everybody thinks he's down and out, can't figure out why he's not playing well anymore. Ends up getting traded to the Rams and is still his same old self, just was caught in a bad situation or whatever. He posted a picture after winning the Super Bowl of him in the mirror every morning looking at a written statement on his mirror that said, I am going to win a Super Bowl. He's projecting out. He's inserting something into his subconscious. He's inserting something into his consciousness that he's saying, that he's believing, that he's projecting. I know that I can achieve this. I know that I can go get this. And I know the steps that it takes to go get this.
Setting a goal.
That is called goal setting, mixed with some type of
it's goal setting. That's
hope,
it. Sure.
You know?
Yeah, but I mean, that all comes with it. But yeah.
So you can project. You can say, I'm going to be a doctor, and then go be a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Dr. Sika. Mm-hmm. However, if you are going to say, I am going to be a Super Bowl champion in the metaverse, what does that cost you? Like, how can you do that there?
I don't know.
Yeah, you could just say, I won the Super Bowl. Your avatar is just a Super Bowl winning
pretend
champion.
Like dress like one, or
yeah, you can
or carry the trophy around, or what? I don't know.
You got your ring, you got your trophy, you got your picks from your team.
You could buy it.
You
can buy it. Yeah,
right. Yeah. You're creating this thing. This is why, in reality, things like con artists are sent to prison for defrauding other real people.
Oh, but you can do that now on Metaverse now for legally.
Yeah,
they I think they talked about that too. They talked about the scariest thing was be like somebody could walk into a Metaverse chat room or whatever that you're having a meeting in and pretend to be you.
Right.
Which is crazy because I'm like, I don't know how you defend against that without knowing absolutely everything about that person, which then comes into all kinds of other issues. But yeah, it's not reality. You're right. the conversation was interesting. It's worth listening to just because you want to know how these people think. But
if you go the progressive route, like that extra progressive thought right now, you're going to end up there, that this is reality. What you think, what you're, I don't want to misspeak right now, but I can verbally process this out. I guess I would reverse engineer it. Why isn't that reality? And the reason why it's not reality is if you take yourself, if you remove this thing from the metaverse, like let's say whatever you create there, if it is not able to be exported out into your life, how real is it? And it's not, because if you go to the Matrix example, you're in the Matrix, you think you're in reality. That's the metaverse. Until someone outside of the Matrix that's been removed from it comes in and tells you this is all a simulation.
But if you get lost in that, now I think the way that they're approaching it is that it's a tool. They're thinking of it as a tool. Like, hey, let me add this tool to your toolkit. I can't meet with JB today, so I'm going to go meet with him in this room, in this metaverse room, because we're on opposite sides of the globe. Right. And they are like, hey, this is a tool that you guys can interact.
Right.
And with every tool, there's uses for it. Like the tool is not the thing that's bad necessarily. It's the way that you use the tool.
For sure.
Right. And I think that's a true statement, generally speaking.
Yeah.
It's pretty true. And I think that applies here, right? So it's like, it's not the tool, but it's the way that people use it. It's how you approach it. It's what you make of it. I don't know. I'm still thinking it through.
The main thing that I have a problem with is, are you trying to move everyone into the metaverse? Like, it
depends on the goal.
Is there a reason to take everyone there? Like, is that his goal?
Yeah, and I don't know. And that's why I thought it was that's why I think you should listen to the podcast, because you could see what he thinks, because some of those questions. I
can go back to 2004 at the start of Facebook, and it's like Facebook started and it was supposed to be an exclusive thing for college students at a few universities.
To like communicate between friends and stay in touch?
No, to rate girls.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
It was as misogynistic as it could possibly be. Why Facebook hasn't been canceled by the progressives doesn't make any sense to me. However, like, legitimately, it was like, yo, Ashley G, from Stanford is a 9. You gotta talk to her. Like, that's what it was. That's what it was.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Then, Facebook. It was a book of faces, right? It's like original Tinder. Like,
I always love when you break down language like that, because it's like the language always has some sort of meaning. Where'd it come from?
Yeah, you're
okay.
So, anyways, is Facebook's goal to have everyone on Earth on Facebook?
I don't know. That's not what he said. But you know, I don't know.
If you had a company, is your goal to have
everyone? I have a company.
Is your goal to have everyone in Chesapeake join CrossFit Krypton?
If they want to.
Voluntarily.
I think it would help everybody. Yes. I could find a way to help everybody. Correct. If I had the means to do it.
Now insert our next podcast, which would be, if you're not voluntarily, coming and going from somewhere, that's probably a good sign that place is not a good place for you.
But not voluntarily.
Like, imagine not being able to leave a cult.
Did you say a cult?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why it's a cult, bro. That's because they don't let you leave. They enslave you. They trick you. You go in. It's like people think that Christians or whatever it is. But it's like, nah, dog, I can bounce. I didn't go to church on Sunday. That's okay. Like, they didn't come, throw me in the van and bring me back, to some ranch in Oregon. this technology thing is like it's sucking you into it. It warps your ability to see things as they actually are. Like there's an obvious thing that I think people are figuring out right now. There's this new filter thing where it's like there's these videos of people and they're like, this is not what I actually look like. They're talking into the camera or whatever, and it's like, this is what I actually look like. And like the filter comes down and it's like, whoa. Like no wonder all of these men and women have like body image issues and are killing themselves and mental health issues and all of these things. Is like, because you can just hold your phone up and see yourself in this like artificial way and be like, and then you could project that to the world if you wanted, and then that thing you project to the world can get attention, and if it gets a lot of attention, why wouldn't you just constantly project that thing to the world? And then why wouldn't you take the next step into just making that a forever thing? What wouldn't you want to be this person? You could be this person. See how real that is, because it brings value and feelings and motivation and all of the above. And then all of a sudden, if that gets blown up, the Facebook server or whatever, the Metaverse doesn't exist anymore, and you wake up and you're in, some warehouse, like being fed by a feeding tube, and something's breathing for you because you've uploaded yourself that far into this non-reality. You're going to go, oh my goodness, what did I do? Is that hyperbolic, JB? No, that's not hyperbolic. It's so simple to see that's where that would go. Am I tripping?
No, I don't think so. That's just me, though. Yeah.
Do you remember how I got here? You brought.
Well, we were talking about. I'm sorry.
It's your fault.
We were talking about. Oh, I think it's turned off. We were talking about. We were talking about hyper reality, and the CrossFit Open.
Oh yeah.
And how the Open is the test that wakes you up, that reminds you, that gives you the red pill.
Yes, it wakes you up
the
every
Open
year,
does
once
that,
a year.
Wakes you up, and it's important, because otherwise you will end up exactly like you just said, not knowing why you are being held captive in this thing or place that you think is great because you're receiving all of these, let's say, what positive affirmations, right. Or you have a great feeling about yourself or something like that.
Like imagine being lied into a controversy.
Kind of tricked in a way.
Just tricked into doing something. Like imagine man, no, I'm not going to go there.
I just love that. I love that representation of the Open being the check to reality for your average CrossFitter. Another reason as to check why you would do the Open.
100%.
A couple people commented like they didn't want to do it because of the way CrossFit's going and all this, that, and the other, but I just don't think they're seeing the same things.
And there's some hope. There's a hope in there for that person that said that. I don't think I'm going to do this because I don't like the direction this is going. There's a chance, because CrossFit's decentralized, we established why that's true. How it's decentralized is that there will be a CrossFit Games champion at your gym, and then in your county or your city, and then your state, and then eventually, once it gets deconstructed, let's say the whole thing corporate burns down, well, it will rebuild itself. It will rise from the ashes. It has to. It's inevitable, like you said, right? So, and because it's decentralized to this individual gym, it's okay if CrossFit is going that direction currently. It's okay. Mm-hmm. The nature of this thing will check it.
Mm-hmm. Seems like it.
Good, real, true things.
Do that. It's weird. It's like you can't hide it.
Right. You can't hide it, and it will have a remnant. It will always have a remnant, and that remnant will arise from the ashes, and it would reestablish what you've always talked about with that. It's very, very, very good. Do you got a prediction for the second week?
No, I have no clue. I don't know if they're doing Dave's workouts that he wrote or if they're rewriting workouts.
Oh man, do you think they're doing that?
Well, Dave said he had all the workouts written, right? From online. I didn't have any insider information.
Oh my goodness.
So hopefully they're using his, but I don't know if they're making them up. First one was decent. Hopefully there's it's a little more complicated in the next one. But no, I'm just thinking about this the Open being a good test. It's good. I liked it. It's a good thought for today.
Agreed. I'm excited for next week. What would you like to see next week?
I'd like to see some toes to bar, something grippy. I'd like to see something grippy.
Show me forearms.
Not because JB doesn't want to see it, but
I hate that.
I just like the grip workouts. Maybe like some power snatch toe to bar. Something like that would be fun. Yeah, but it's like yeah, it would be fun.
Would you? All right, I write the Open workout. How heavy is the power snatch?
95.
All right. 50 reps. 95.
No, it'd be like an
100 toes to bar. 50 power snatch.
Oh, I would hate that. Yeah, no, I don't like that.
Why is that?
It's not bad. It's not bad. I just don't like it. Me personally, I like the rounds.
Okay.
I just like. I think the.
Would you rather it
managing your grip is different than just muscling through 50 reps? You know?
Would you? For sure. All right. So you want there to be a little more technical.
Yeah, you have to. I like
athlete,
that.
Like the mental side.
There has to be like a little bit of. You got to be smart with it. You can't.
Right. That's why this last workout is no good for me. You can't be smart with the last workout.
Well, that's been my tendency over the course of the years too. Is like the less smart you have to be during the workout, the worse I do at it.
100%.
It's like, and I hate that. And it's like I always. But that's what I'm working on. I'm always working on that. Just go kind of mentality.
Yeah.
But. Just something that's a weakness, you know.
Right. Well, and it's a little hard for you too. You've been doing this for so long. You did that for a little while. Like you beat your face into the ground for early on.
Yeah, I mean, you got to learn your limits. You got to find your limits.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, but yeah, I'd pick like power snatch, toe to bar, maybe a double under, just for the break.
Yeah,
I think that'd be good. Maybe another triplet. Hopefully another triplet because there's only 3 events.
Right.
So hopefully they build a broad test with.
What about
events.
like a part B max snatch?
Yeah, maybe for the last one.
Cool.
Be fun.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't really these workouts don't matter too much, you know, because if you do decent at them, you're probably going to move on to the next phase, and then
for the competitor,
then you can really test yourself
in the next round.
For the
elite.
For the average day person, it is a fantastic eye opener to see what you're made of truly, and have somebody judge you. All of those things. Yeah, that's good. Got anything else?
Why don't you give? Do you think what? Well, I don't have anything else. I want to make sure we did what we set out to do. Redo take. Should you redo an Open workout?
I think you covered that pretty well. I think if it was your ego that was the thing as to why you wanted to redo it.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult to be able to recognize whether it's your ego or whether you truly believe you can do better.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can make a distinction between those two things, then you should, and you believe you can do better, then you should redo it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've just been leaderboarding for a week and your ego's telling you to redo it, you probably shouldn't redo it.
Yeah, I wonder if they're like the person listening to this can do that.
It's a good exercise.
Yeah, win that one. Don't do it. Try it.
Yeah, because you can mess up and not know and go out and not beat your score and then be even more angry. Like that's a thing. But
that's why that's the shadow. What if you don't do better?
You still learn though.
Yeah, now you're still learning.
But you really learn.
There's a chance that you like lobster spiral, down to like, exile from the community. Like there's a chance it sends you into exile. But
you still learn.
You still learn.
If you face it with the right. Yeah, okay. That was a good one. I think we covered that well.
All right, cool. Then that was it. That was what we set out to do.
That was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we talked the hyper reality I thought was interesting. I'll be thinking about that this week.
Cool. Baudrillard.
Yeah, great. And yes, thank you to our sponsor, Cativa CBD.
Yeah,
just want to say thanks for letting us do this. So, or helping us do this. So thought it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. We appreciate all you do.
That's right. Go out and get some. It's great. Ben's been using it a bunch on his knees. I've been using it a bunch on my knees. And my wife's been using it on her wrist, which has been giving her a lot of problems since she was post-twins. She had twins. And there's this common thing that women get sort of arthritic things, in their joints. So they have arthritis or whatever
Baby
it
arm.
is. Baby arm.
Dude, that's a real thing.
It's a real thing, right? Like something
It's a
with
real
something
thing.
with her wrist, and
that's crazy.
I don't know what it is, or I don't know. I think I do know what it is, but I'll tell her tonight what I think it is. Whatever. Actually, I just figured it out when I was just doing this. But
good luck with the next open workout.
But anyways, I was bringing that up to say this cream, the salve, this Cativa salve, has for this past week been phenomenal for her wrists. And it's like, everybody claims that that cannabis, that this plant, in salve form, it's this cure-all plant. It's like, it's not a cure-all, but it's as best as it gets, though. It's as natural as it gets, and it's as good as it gets. Support local.
Yeah, love it. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.